Well, it's now time to bring you updates as we have them from Ikoyi now. 9 persons have been confirmed rescued, 10 others confirmed dead, while rescue operations are still on in the wreckage of a 21-story high-rise building which collapsed under construction. Scores others also fared, still trapped in the building and the cause of the collapse and exactly how many people are trapped under the rubble remains sketchy. Some reports also say that the building was several floors higher than originally intended. I will have joining me to discuss this and much more from the scene of this event as we have updates to give us insight. The chairman, Nigerian Institute of Architects Lagos chapter, David Majakodumi. Good to have you on the show this afternoon. David, if you can hear me, I'd like you to confirm your exact position at Ikoyi and updates you have, apart from the figures we have of the number of people dead, those likely confirmed, rescued, and then the state of the premise there.
Yeah, we can talk.
Well, we'd just like to bring you some updates. Earlier recorded pieces we had as rescue operations are still ongoing on the Gerard Road in Ikoyi, where a 21-story building which was under construction collapsed. Now, so far, 10 people have been confirmed. We have more of this and much more in this earlier report, which was prepared in the day.
Ikoyi is a highbrow area known with luxury homes and apartments. The building contractors spare no cost to ensure all structure is erected with high-quality materials. But on Monday, 1st of November, a 21-story building that has been under construction for more than 2 years collapsed. When the incident happened, residents rushed to the scene using their hands to dig into the rubble. Though emergency responders arrived at the scene with heavy equipment for evacuation, residents say they arrived late. 4 people have been confirmed dead, 4 rescued alive and rushed to an undisclosed hospital as at the time of putting this package together.
Throughout the whole night, because we can't leave it. We are still having the people complaining that some are still alive there and we cannot live there. So we are going to be here throughout the whole night. To all the rescue agencies. No, nobody can give. Neither NEMA nor LASEMA nor police, none of the rescue teams can give the actual video of the people on the ground when it collapses. Okay. It's only the site engineers that can give. Okay. It's only evidence of those who have engage those working that can give them the we are not here when it happens. So when it happens, we are told. And we have to come in. At the end of the day, we will now have to know. Then we'll account for it. But now, it's too premature. We cannot know how many until the rescue mission is completed.
Well, the accidents can happen. Shouldn't be put out from the because I'm an engineer. Things can be but to the best of our ability, we follow regulation, we follow standards.
This is not the first time that the building has collapsed in Lagos. In 2019, 2 buildings caved in, including one housing a school, leaving dozens of people dead. Till date, no one has been prosecuted for the incident. No official statement has been released, but reports say the developer may also be under the rubble.
And while we're still trying to establish connection with the chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Architects Lagos chapter, David Majakodumi, we still have a little bit of a piece prepared, a conversation we had with Femi Oshibana of the Foursquare Homes, looking at conversations as to what sort of edifice this was, what it was bringing to the real estate market, and then the state of affairs as at the time under construction. Please listen to this piece.
Yes, I like to, you know, I was already started in my introduction, but I want to go straight to how did this all start? How did you get this? How did you get into the sector? What happened? How did you play into it? And you're doing so well in the real estate sector at the moment. I
gotta say, all glory must be given to God. I finished my university career in England in 1991. Then when I finished, I went into buying and selling of shoes and suits. That was what I was doing from 1991 to 1997, to be precise. When it got to 1996, I made up my mind that I wanted to buy a house. That was my plan. To buy a house and rent it out and to still continue selling. Then after some time again, I just decided that let me just buy this, let me just go into development. I decided I want to go to development because I spoke to people, you know, I was tired of moving around. You know, when I was selling shoes, I never had a shop. But I had some money because lots of people know me in London. It was a mobile shop, but it was selling. I was making money. You know, at that level, I was making good money. Yeah. Lots of people know me in England. I go and buy the shoes from Italy and suits from Italy. I bring them to London. When I get to London, you know, everybody, and I understand the secret of selling, you know. I know Nigerians like shoes, they like suits. And Nigerians buy shoes and suits, not because they need it. If Nigerians see good things, they'll buy, you know. So I have certain people that I target. I'll target you if you have money, and I know you are a man of your word. Yeah. So I know if you're a man of your word, you will pay. Yeah. So you're not like to hold. Yeah. And I must be sure you also have money, because if you're a man of your word, but you don't have money, you will still owe. Yeah. And also, if you have money, but you're not a man of your word, you will not pay. So those were my two criteria, which many people do not know. And you know, people are. But so in 1997, luckily for me, I bought a place on 469 New Cross Road, in New Cross. I think for about 68,000. Wow. It was strange. When I bought the place had like a land behind it. So to me, the land meant nothing. And I was going to sell the land. Somebody offered me £15,000. So I told my lawyer to sell it. That the man, I was traveling to Nigeria, said, please sell the land. The buyer is going to give you £500 deposit. By the time I came back, 2 months said, oh, she didn't sell it because the man didn't pay 10%, which was 1,500. I said, no, I told you that I was going to pay £500. So I was very angry. I can remember. Then I terminated that lawyer. Then the person who introduced, the lawyer that introduced me to her, and I went to her and I said, oh, I don't know what this lawyer has done. By that time, she had already set up her own practice. Then she said, why do you want to sell? Don't you know you can build? It was strange to me. This was 1997. I said, what do you mean, build what? She said, you can build on the land. I said, can you? You know, I've never had about it in my life that you build. So I said, so how do I start? She said, all you have to do, call the local authority. And surprisingly, we called, I got an architect. Then the architect called the local authority. We had a meeting there. And I was shocked when they were telling us that we can develop 2 units. I was shocked that 2 units, is it that easy? To my surprise, that was how I started. I developed 2 units there. There was a 2-bedroom and 1 3-bedroom. So 2 units. And we developed it. Surprisingly, we developed it with the rent I was collecting on the house in front. In front of it was a shop with 3 flats. So what they were paying was what I used to do the first development. And I will never forget. So that one was sold, and I was shocked because, you know, it was strange. Yes. I've never heard of it before, talk less of seeing it happening. So I did that one. That one we finished in 1998. It was sold, and then something it was sold. Then again, I bought something else in Stoke Newington. It was a big house. After I bought the house, I converted it into 3 flats. And this is very interesting. I applied, there was a big house, I applied for a 2-story extension. The council wanted to write 2-story. They made a mistake. They wrote 3-story. So when we started developing it, some people, neighbors went to report. You know when you have a 2-story in London, you can't do a 3-story. A 2-story must go all the way. So they went to report me to the council, and the council came and said they made a mistake. They agreed that they made a mistake. So I should not do the 3-story. Anyway, I went up and did the 3-story. Then we went for a committee. At the committee, I won. So that's how we did the 3-story. At that time, 1999, I will never forget, when I bought that property, stone was down. You can't believe it. It was as if I came to increase the price. Number 8 BT Road, that is the address of the property. By the time we built it, the profit we were thinking of making, the profit doubled. And I need to tell you this, when I even bought this particular property, people told me that I might not make money. But to cut the story short, sir, made a lot of money. So that was in 1999 to 2000. After finishing that project, I went further to Peckham. If you know about Peckham, Peckham used to be a slum. Nobody wants to live in Peckham. I bought the land in Bafford Road, year 2000 May. Again, when I bought Peckham, you can't believe it, Peckham started going up. Was there any reason for buying Peckham? The answer is no, that was what was just available. But the secret is that I believe God had already planned my life from the beginning. So I bought that place in Peckham. I did 2 houses, number 41 and 42 Bafford Road. This will surprise you. I never knew the property had gone so high. I sold the first one for 185 because I thought 185 was a good deal. The second one I sold for about 250. Apparently, when I sold the first one for 185, properties were already 240. I did not know, but I was shocked. Again, Peckham started going on. If you know the history of Peckham today now, those type of houses are going now for about 500,000, 600,000 pounds. You know. So from there, I entered the property market. Then I came back to Nigeria in year 2000. After finishing, I'm the one in Bafford Road. I came to Nigeria. I have to be honest with you, but I came to Nigeria. I actually thought I've arrived. You know, I thought maybe I was making money, and in my mind, I was just saying, let me go and just relax in Nigeria. Then one of these days, I went for a holiday in London, and I went to a friend's house, and I saw my friend. His house there were some white people. He was living in a very big house and things like that. So I was shocked because I've never seen something like that. Because the area, what I was seeing in London there is that at my level, I was already on top. I know when you see when you don't see things very well. People are saying that, oh, you've already gotten to the level where a black man can get to, you know. So but I went to my friend's house and I saw it. I was very impressed. I spoke to him and said, I never knew things like this were in London. You know, he was living in a house of about 4 or 5 million pounds. And things like that, you know. So I spoke to him. Then I came back to Nigeria. At that time, my plan was to live in Nigeria and be developing in London. But at that time, I was going to be using builders. So there was this house I bought in London. It's still existing today. They call it Fosco Mansions in Hackney, 113 Albion Drive. I bought that land. Sorry, it was a pub. I bought a pub. The pub was to be demolished. Then apply for planning permission to develop a 5-story building. But I was scared because I've never done new build before. You know, the one I did in Hackney. Sorry, the one I did in Hackney was conversion. The one I did in Peckham was new build, but it was just 2 floors. Now I wanted to do 5 floors. And also the one I did in Peckham, I actually gave it out to one of my guys. You understand? But now I was faced with doing 5 floors in actually 6 floors. It was a semi-basement and 4-story building.
Well, we'd like to emphasize that broadcast there, the chat between Femi Oshibona and Tolulope Ogunjobi, was months earlier broadcast, and that was looking at the proposed luxury structure. That's the 4 square homes presentation, which is expected to be completed in the year 2022. Some of the information we have about the structure is that it was designed as a 3-tower estate. That's a 360-degree towers. The collapse section is just one of the 3 structures of the towers. Now, the main contractor for the project remains 4 Square Homes, which is owned by Femi Oshibona, a UK-trained estate developer. And according to the Highbrow Living magazine, the property is also constituting about 4-bedroom mansionettes, flats, duplexes, and also penthouses. Other planned features of the luxury apartment, that's the proposed luxury apartment which collapsed, was looking at the luxury in the sky building, including an open recreation area with outdoor television, gym, as well as swimming pool. And the structure was also said to be about 80% completed as at the time it collapsed, and was built to be concluded in the year 2022. Now, the price range of the apartment is set to be at about $1.2 million and $5 million. Now, I have joining me to still look at some of the updates we're having from the field, member of the Nigerian Institute of Architects Lagos chapter, Ikoyi Iyamabo. Thank you very much for standing by with us. What are the latest you can give us? As part of the information we have, 4 Square Homes is part of the National Home Builders Registration Council for South Africa, Zurich Building Guarantee for Europe. So the big question we're asking is, how did this building collapse? Is there any more information you can give us?
Well, details are still very sketchy at this moment. Bottom line is something went wrong, and we have to find out what exactly went wrong. Ordinarily, this should not have happened if regulations and laid down would strictly adhered to. On the building site, you have a complement of professionals, architects, engineers, and the likes, and there are regulations in place for govern the conduct of each of these professionals. They must be adequately supervised by qualified professionals. You have to have material testing, and all stages of the works are supposed to be regulated and inspected and signed off. So obviously, like I said, something went wrong. It could be material failure, it could be structural failure. It's a bit early to tell. It's impossible at this stage to tell what exactly went wrong.
And what's the state of evacuation at this point in time?
Well, fortunately, earlier on today, they took out 2 or 3 dead bodies from the site. It's a painstaking process as they remove structural members, they investigate to find out whether there are any people alive in the debris, and then when that is determined, they do further evacuation of debris. And well, so far, like I said, they removed a couple of bodies, and it is still ongoing, and it's a painstaking and a very slow process. We pray that there could be 1 or 2 still alive in this situation.
Okay, now, can you tell us if we've had any more rescues in terms of those alive, or if there is any body that has been also evacuated from the site, removed from the site?
I just said earlier that while I was here, a couple of bodies were evacuated from the debris.
How many?
2 in my presence. I do not know if there were some removed earlier and if there were some removed after I did, but 2 bodies.
Okay, now, wrapping up our conversation, Mr. Iyamabo, now let's look at the state of the other structures still standing. What sort of testing will be undertaken going forward now? And in the case of data collection as well, in the issue of licensing permissions, what are the likely actions to be taken after this?
Well, this starts from government regulation. for developments like this to take place, they have to have been approved by the government. All the drawings, all the scheme, the entire scheme is supposed to have been approved by the regulatory authorities, and they had that responsibility to ensure that what was approved is actually what was built, what was being built. Unfortunately, this has happened. I want to believe that they got necessary documentation correct in starting and executing this project. But now that one of the towers has come down, what would be advisable to do is to conduct structural integrity tests on the two standing towers, which, even if they were well built, the collapse would have had an impact, a negative impact on the structure. So, of course, before this project is allowed to continue, there are a lot of checks that have to be conducted, and then the buildings have to be certified fit for continuation and for completion.
Thank you. Updates you're able to give us now. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, although the circumstances are not the best, but we'll continue to wait for more updates there.